Dear colleagues, may I kindly ask you to take a seat so that we can start our session. Bom dia a todos.
So, good morning again. Session is resumed. I have some important information for you. Important information for this House of European Democracy. The result of the votes for the President of the European Parliament. The results are available and are as follows. Members voting, 690. Blank or void votes, 74. Number of votes cast, 616. So the absolute majority requires 309 votes. The votes were as follows. Roberta Metsola, 458 votes.
So congratulations, Roberta Metsola, and indeed, happy birthday.
Now, the other results are as follows. Alicia Kunke, 101 votes. Sira Lego, 57 votes. So, Roberta Metsola has thus obtained an absolute majority of the votes cast, and she is now the President of the European Parliament. I would like to congratulate Mrs. Metsola on her election, and I would like to wish her all the best for her term of office. And of course, I invite you, Roberta Metsola, to take the President's chair. Thank you very much.
Grazie. Grazie. Members al Parliament.
Thank you, dear members of the European Parliament, colleagues, European colleagues. With humbleness, I feel honoured by this responsibility with which you are entrusting me. I promise you that I will work and do my utmost to work on behalf of this Parliament and for the benefit of all EU citizens.
Come Presidente, raccogliere l'eredità.
The first thing that I would like to do as the President is to think about David Sassoli's legacy. He was a fighter. He fought for Europe, for us, for this Parliament. He believed in the power of Europe and its capacity to go down a special path in this world. Thank you very much, David.
Sassoli as President by always standing up for Europe, for our common values of democracy, dignity, justice, solidarity, equality, rule of law and fundamental rights, for the politics of hope and the promise of the European Union. I want people to recapture a sense of belief and enthusiasm for our project, a belief to make our shared space safer, fairer, more just and more equal. Dear Europeans, in the next years, people across Europe will look to our institution for leadership and direction, while others will continue to test the limits of our democratic values and European principles. We must fight back against the anti-EU narrative that takes hold so easily and so quickly. Disinformation and misinformation, further amplified during the pandemic, fuels easy cynicism and cheap solutions of nationalism, authoritarianism, protectionism, isolationism. These are a false illusion offering no solutions, because Europe is about precisely the opposite. It is about all of us standing up for one another, bringing our people closer together. It is about all of us defending those principles of our founding mothers and fathers that led us from the ashes of war and Holocaust to peace, to hope and to prosperity. Honourable members, our House matters. It matters to our judges under attack, to our healthcare frontliners under pressure, to every woman in our union still fighting for her rights, to the vulnerable, to the oppressed and the abused. It matters to those forced to flee natural disasters, to the families of those killed in terror attacks, to our armed forces and law enforcement serving under difficult conditions, to those seeking protection, to our farmers, NGOs and entrepreneurs. It matters to our LGBTI communities, to those still discriminated against because of their religion, their skin colour or gender identity, to all those who believe in the promise of Europe. This House matters, and when people look to us to defend our values, they will find an ally. Dear colleagues, my generation sees no old and new Europe. We are the first of the Erasmus generation, the last of the Wałęsa and Havel generation. We understand that equality of opportunity is different from making everyone the same. We celebrate differences in Europe because we know that that is what makes us stronger, what makes us unique, what makes us European. And we know that if people are to look to Europe with confidence, we must burst through the Strasbourg and Brussels bubble to bring Europe, its ideals and its decisions to people in different towns and villages across Europe. Chacun se sentirait mieux sur notre planète s'il pouvait entendre l'Europe.
Bitter if they can hear the strong voice of Europe. That is what Valéry Giscard d'Estaing said in 2002.
The call for a stronger Europe existed. We must now ensure that the Conference on the Future of Europe has the support that it needs to ensure concrete outcomes. And especially, we must listen to our youth on this year that is dedicated to them. Dear fellow Europeans, climate change is ravaging our continent and our world. It is no longer a problem for another generation to deal with. If you believe science, and this House does, the question is no longer if, but when. The European Green Deal and the pledge to be the first carbon-free continent is the right answer. This is not only a necessity and an urgency, but it is also an opportunity for Europe to take the lead, to reinvent itself, to ensure growth, sustainability and prosperity while reducing emissions. We must impress on the rest of the world that the fight against climate change is a common destiny, because tomorrow is too late. And we must continue to show that you cannot decouple the environment and the economy. Businesses, from start-ups and SMEs to larger corporations across our union, require legal certainty, easier access to funding and an innovative spirit and environment in Europe. They need less bureaucracy and more chances to take the risks that will see Europe once again regain its competitive edge. The Recovery and Resilience Fund will help our investment to relaunch after the pandemic. Like the green transition, the digital transformation creates opportunities, and we need to be at the forefront of these changes and steer it. And we will. Our European way of open economies and open societies is a model that I am proud of. It is a model that must be given the support to withstand the pressure it comes under. And this is a pressure to look inwards, to erect new barriers, to put up old borders and abandon our shared Schengen space, a space we have a duty to complete, or any attempt to discredit our values and principles. Konrad Adenauer said, "European unity was a dream of a few. It became a hope for the many, and today it is a necessity for all of us." Dear colleagues, the world around us is less friendly than it was a generation ago. The unacceptable attacks on Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity and the dangerous situation in Belarus are prime examples of this, and our collective security is a common challenge. For the European Union to remain credible and exert its influence globally, we have to remain principled. This is our true strength. For autocrats and despots, the EU is a threat simply by existing. As Tarek Osman put it so eloquently, Europe has, after all, curated the most beautiful, refined way of living humanity has ever known. Cette année marque le 70e anniversaire.
This year marks the 70th year of our presence in Strasbourg, a city and a region that marks a separation of powers and offers a democratic guarantee. And so our house is an institution close to and serving the interests of citizens. This is a given for our institution.
But also of healing. We can put this experience to use in helping efforts to end the separation in the European Union's last divided country, Cyprus, under the auspices of the UN plan. We can never be truly whole while Cyprus remains split. We must also reverse the lost momentum when it comes to our relationship with the Western Balkans. So, dear members, let me be clear. To those who seek to destroy Europe, know that this House stands against you. To those who attempt to undermine democracy, the rule of law, free speech and fundamental rights, who see women as a target and who deny the rights to our LGBTIQ citizens, know that this House will never accept it. To those who try to blackmail Europe through hybrid attacks, this Parliament will not weaken solidarity among members. Know that dictators will never divide us. And let me say to the families of Daphne Caruana Galizia and Jan Kuciak, journalists, for doing their job, killed. Your fight for truth and justice is our fight. To the loved ones of Olivier Dubois, abducted for almost 300 days in Mali, I say his struggle for freedom must become our struggle. Friends, Europeans, the political model that we developed has led our continent to democracy, prosperity and equality. But if we now are to raise Europe to the levels promised to the next generation, we now need to forge something even stronger, something in tune with the times that motivates a younger, more sceptical audience to believe in Europe. And ours must be a parliament that empowers, that is diverse. I know that having the first female president of this House since 1999 matters both inside and outside these rooms. But it must go further. Our institutions' commitment to having more diversity, gender equality, guaranteeing women's rights, all our rights, must be reaffirmed. "22 years ago, Nicole Fontaine was elected 20 years after Simone Veil. It will not be another 2 decades until the next woman is standing here. And I know I stand on the shoulder of giants, the shoulders of Simone Veil, Auschwitz inmate 78651, who tore off the shackles of that painful part of our European history to blaze a path through ceilings as the first woman to be European Parliament President. The shoulders of the millions of nameless women who endured so much and who fought for us to have the opportunities that they were never afforded. The shoulders of Aisling, Paulina, and all the other women whose lives have already been stolen this year. The shoulders of Europe's displaced and the disappeared, on all those who fought and suffered under totalitarianism and sacrificed everything for Europe, on the shoulders of all those who believed and who believe still. We stand here thanks to them, we stand here for them. Europe is back. Europe is the future. Vive l'Europe. Thank you, and now we get to work. I will now give the floor to the speakers on behalf of the political groups. I start by inviting Manfred Weber, Chair of the EPP Group, to take the floor.
Sehr geehrte Frau Präsidentin,
President Roberta, on behalf of the European People's Party, your group, I would like to warmly congratulate you on your election as President of the European Parliament, and happy birthday. I would like to congratulate you and underscore that you have received a strong mandate from this House here this morning. On behalf of my group, I would like to thank all those that voted for our candidate, the EPP candidate. Together, over the next 2.5 years, we want to face into the next European Parliament elections, make it clear to citizens that we are working for them, as outlined by our President. Together with Roberta Metsola, we have the youngest President in the history of the European Parliament. We have elected a President from a small member state. This demonstrates that small member states carry great clout in the European Parliament, and we have a woman now heading up the European Parliament. For the EPP, I would like to point out that we have put forward 2 female candidates, Ursula von der Leyen and Roberta Metsola, 2 women spearheading 2 European institutions, strong women. That's very good. I'd like to wish you the very best. Yesterday, we marked the end of an era, the passing of David Sassoli. Unfortunately, that was a sad chapter that ended a very important chapter, and now we start a new chapter. Very best, Roberta. We're very proud of you.
Thank you, Manfred. I now give the floor to Irache Garcia Perez on behalf of the S&D Group.
Gracias.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Congratulations, President. It's an important day for this institution, for this House, and for those of us who believe that the European project needs dialogue, needs understanding, needs building bridges to those that may think differently, but we need to work together for the benefit of our citizens. That's why they've elected us. Yesterday, during the ceremony for our beloved President Sassoli, I'd like to say, please protect this legacy, the legacy of a man, a president who worked for a Europe that would be based on solidarity, that would be fairer, a Europe that would be close to those who need us the most. I am sure that if that is what you do, and that is the path you take, you can count on the support of the Socialists and Democrats in order to accomplish all of this. A second important issue, Madam President, you know that you are no longer an MEP from a political group, but to be the President of the entire House. Today, you have become the President of all the members of the European Parliament in this institution. So I'm sure that you will defend the positions that will come out of our debates and our votes. That is democracy, and today we need to defend European democracy more than ever. I wish you the best of success, because your personal successes will be the collective successes of our institution and our European project. Thank you.
Thank you, Irache. I now give the floor to Stéphane Séjourné on behalf of the Renew Group.
Ça marche, c'est bon. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and congratulations on your election on behalf of the whole of the Renew Group, which I represent here today. I would like to thank you for your speech and for the priorities you've set out. And besides the support of our group, we also have our own political priorities. And I'm sure that's the same with a number of political groups in this House. that we want to ensure that we have a strong parliament with our rights respected, and I hope that your first decision will be to support the Simone Weil Pact. You cited a number of illustrious women who preceded you in this House, and the rights that they fought for are part of the DNA of this institution. We hope that these will be 2 effective years at the service of the Europeans. We hope that you will be able to construct a European model in a number of different areas: digital economy, the environment, security. You'll have the Renew Group at your side to work within this House, and we would like to thank you and I hope that you can have trust in the political groups. I'd also like to thank my colleagues in this mid-term agreement. We've been able to stress public policy and how this and that will be reflected in how this Parliament is run. I'm looking forward to good work over the 2.5 years of your term in office. Thank you very much.
Merci, Stéphane. Next is Philip Lambert for the Green Group.
Merci, Madame la
Thank you very much, Madam President. On behalf of the group, the Greens, and in the European Parliament, I'd like to congratulate you on your election. I'd like to say almost at last. Finally, 20 years after Nicole Fontaine, 40 years after Simone Veil, we have a woman at the head of the European Parliament. And Manfred, we have to due where it is due. It's the EPP who have pushed for your candidate, Roberta Metsola, at the head of the European Parliament. So we have Roberta Metsola heading the European Parliament and Mrs. von der Leyen at the head of the Commission, 2 very strong European institutions. The EPP is accused sometimes of being a patriarchal party, but now I think we have to recognise that no, this isn't the case. We disagree with you sometimes, but we have to acknowledge that here this is an excellent choice. Madam, you have very many qualities, and you also have the strength to lead our Parliament. There have been disagreements, for example, abortion, reproductive rights, sexual reproductive rights of women, but there are very many points of agreement as well. You've talked about democracy, the rule of law. You've also referred to another fight, i.e. a Europe that is willing and able to welcome refugees that are knocking on our door. We've had these debates in the past, and we're going to be continuing them. During the course of your speech and presentation, you said something which touched me, actually. You said that we are very rich, wealthy in our differences. And if you take a look at the European Union, its motto is diversity, unity in diversity. And you have said that our differences are what makes us so great. And obviously, as the President, you are going to have to maintain the respect of these differences here. And maybe another point I could make here, if we take a look at the whole process that has led up to your election, Madam President, it's not a very glorious process, especially for the European Parliament, because once again, the essential aspect and parameter that we have that characterises the agreement relates to distribution of posts. The political groups adopted the position, and there were certain appetites that had to be satisfied, if you will, and this to the detriment of smaller political groups in the European Parliament. You're a great Democrat, Madam President. Democracy can never be a reign without sharing out between everybody based on the majority. So obviously, I think it would be quite a good idea if you could launch a reform of the rules of procedure of this European Parliament, and to set out in our texts the respect of minorities in this European Parliament and proportional representation for the various posts and the way in which they're distributed. It is not acceptable that the majority, regardless where it is, whether it's in Poland or in the European Parliament, minoritise or marginalise the minorities. All of us have been elected. All of us share the same dignity as a member of the European Parliament, and it should not be a question of the fact that certain members or certain political groups in the European Parliament are second class, almost. So this is a fight that we're going to be waging together. Hopefully there will be others, but congratulations and happy birthday.
Merci, Philippe.
Thank you, Philippe. And now, Marcosani has the floor. Thank you very much indeed, President, and happy birthday. Congratulations also for your election, and good luck. You'll need it, because the job in itself is no easy task, and it's certainly not going to be easy over the next 2.5 years for two main reasons. The first, because you are clearly taking up a heavy inheritance, that of President Sassoli, but I'm sure that you will be able to honour that. Secondly, because over the next years the European institutions will be facing a hugely important debate coming out of a pandemic, both in terms of the workings of the institutions as well as the political challenges, the reform of our rules, looking at the past to see the mistakes we've made and trying to build together a better future. And obviously also managing a situation which will not be easy. There are many new things approaching in the future, the geopolitical future for our Europe. So good luck, really. As far as what I expect from you, having listened to and appreciated your speech, well, obviously it will be respect for the institution and all of the 705 members. Our colleague Lambert was stressing one very important thing, an event which is certainly extraordinary in the true sense of the term, and that is the fact that a woman has been elected to lead this institution. Less important, but just as extraordinary, and I think I would agree with Philippe on that. I think that I can fully subscribe to those words. What we expect from someone who genuinely believes in this institution is respect for the rights of everyone, as is the case in all democratic parliaments. And I'm sure that you will be able to guarantee that over the coming 2.5 years. So good luck and good work. Thank you, Mr. Zanni.
Per il gruppo ECR.
Grazie Presidente, anch'io voglio associarmi.
Thank you, President. Yes, I also wanted to echo the wishes, well, happy birthday, and wishes for good work. We will be watching your presidency very carefully, because we know that in this Parliament there is a need to ensure that the words which echoed around this forum yesterday are the main ones, that the relationships are crucial to the workings of this Parliament. I'm happy that today the European Parliament has elected a woman, but I'm very happy because this woman is one that I know, and on a personal basis, I must say that I think we have all the conditions for her to be able to play this role with seriousness and competence, bearing in mind her CV. Yes, excellent for a woman, even better a woman who has the capacity to actually do this job. I believe that that is a crucial aspect in our assessment of this situation. Inevitably, as we've heard from all the heads of groups, we will have discord and divergence. Everyone else can pick out from that speech whatever they like and stress that, ignoring the things that we don't like. Certainly, yours is not going to be a straightforward role, but we hope it will be one of guarantee. Our approach, as in the past, will continue in the future, will be to be open to dialogue, so that this institution can re-establish its credibility in the interests of the institution itself and also in its role and its action. We are very satisfied at this morning's result, and we hope that we will be able to work well together with you, and it augurs well for the future of this Parliament, this institution. Best wishes and good work. Thank you, Raffaele.
Shirdewan, on behalf of the Left Group.
Ja, vielen Dank. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam President, and congratulations. First of all, happy birthday. What a wonderful coincidence, the fact that your birthday and your election are happening on the very same day. Dual reasons for celebration, my dear Roberta. And our political group will be supporting you constructively in your work. On behalf of my political group, I would like to already commend you on the traditions that you intend to follow. You've talked about the fact that you are picking up the baton from Simone Veil, the first female president of this parliament. Yesterday, of course, we commemorated Mr. Sassoli, your predecessor, and I know that all of these presidents have worked very hard towards European democracy, towards European parliamentarianism, and it's very important that we don't now backtrack on that to any kind of destructive nationalism. So you have stated that you wish to continue with this tradition. I welcome that. And of course, you will be making your own political agenda. You will be making your own mark on our landscape. You've talked about the European Parliament. You said that you wanted it to be an open space for the citizens of the European Union, an open place for them to come. We welcome that, certainly. You've also talked about democratic debates, the fact that they should take place in this chamber, and all democratic voices should be heard in this debate. We welcome that as well. You also want to strengthen our institution vis-à-vis other EU institutions. After all, this is a parliament that is directly elected. It is the forum where the voices of our citizens must be heard, and we must have, therefore, opposite influence on the political landscape. And, of course, I would like to also thank another candidate, Sira Rego. Thank you very much for standing as a candidate. Thank you for also standing up for our beliefs, namely openness, transparency, making sure that we really are acting in full transparency and in full constructiveness. I welcome that, and I would like to thank Sira Rego for that. And here in the European Parliament, I can tell you that we're going to make sure that we will contribute to a stronger democracy, a stronger social union as well. Ecological points of view must be taken on board. Feminism must also be on the agenda of this European Parliament, and the fight against fascism. And I think that that is very much in line with the spirit of your predecessor, Madam President. We look forward to constructive work together in the Conference of Presidents, but also in the Bureau and in other bodies of this institution. And we look forward to working together and moving issues forward together with you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you for those kind words and points to be noted and actioned upon. I give a little bit of information about the election for the Vice President of the European Parliament. I propose that the deadline for the candidature will be at 12:30 today. The candidatures need to be deposited at the Deputy Secretary General in Office R00.101 in the Louise Weiss building, or they could also be stamped, signed and scanned and sent electronically. With that, the session is suspended and we meet again at 3 o'clock. Have a nice lunch.